Yeah, so hi everybody. Glad to be in this call again. It's been my second session in the last couple of months. So once again, thanks David, and of course the community for giving this opportunity. So today we are going to talk about Power Apps Code Apps, which is a new capability in the Power Platform world. So as 2026, this Power Apps Code Apps is generally available. So this is a good time to understand what this product is, where it fits in today's competitive application development world, and of course, how it compares with the other Power Platform options. Then before going further, let me introduce myself. I'm Giridhar Mungamuri. So I work as a technical lead in EY GDS Hyderabad, India, and I primarily works on Microsoft SharePoint and Power Platform products for different stakeholders and portfolios in my organization. Okay, that's a short and sweet about myself. Yeah. So so a bit animated slide to provide some pictorial representation of the info. Just 1 second. Let me pass this animation. Yeah. So before I jump into the demo, I actually want to spend a little extra time on this slide. The reason is very simple. Today converting an idea into working code has been extremely easy thanks to AI. Okay, so to be honest, the entire Events Hub application that I'm going to show you was built in hardly 20-30 minutes because I used prompts, a few reference websites, and some basic ideas, and AI handled most of the coding part. So writing code is no longer the challenge. Even we have seen one of the presentations, Shiv. So converting those prompts into generative AI pages, right? So converting the code is not a great deal nowadays, right? So what really matters is what to build, why we are building it, and how the product itself is designed to work. So its features, limitations, and roadmaps. That's the real skill. So that's why I just want to spend some little time on this slide. Okay, so yeah, so Power Apps Code Apps is a new category added, under Power Apps, along with Canvas, Model Driven, and Power Pages, and Vibe coding too. Okay, so earlier, for everyone, right? So we used to say a common definition. Power Platform was mostly known for no code, low code development, right? So by introducing this code apps, we can introduce a new tag called Pro Code. So which means now Power Platform supports no code, low code, pro code, and of course vibe code. That Shiv also mentioned, right? So converting the natural language into code, which comes under vibe code, right? So this code apps will give more flexibility from business users to the professional developers to write a lot of code and make beautiful mockups. Okay. So yeah, I just want to put some slides. So when I was during starting exploration, I see some gaps and issues in code apps. So I raised this in the official GitHub repo because as a contributor, it's quite important, which helps us, what's going on, the product wise. And luckily this was accepted by the corresponding team and they are going to work on it for the future releases as a feature. Okay, and yes, coming to the application that I'm showing today is it's an event hub. It's pretty simple, single page application. It had all events. All events is nothing but it's a cards where we can see all the upcoming technical sessions and trainings, and of course my events is nothing but a specific logged in user registered details. And I have used SharePoint as well, and I combined both Dataverse and SharePoint because I want to use SharePoint as a document management. So I linked these two, which I will cover in the session. And of course, the source code, which I will provided, like once the David shared this slide, you can find this link there. So just for the reference. Okay, let me go with, there are some few slides. I am going to skip it. So these are nothing but the screenshots of the application. So anyway, I would like to skip it because anyway, we will see the application live, right? So let me jump into the application. Yeah, so this is the application that have built. As I said, it's hardly 15-20 minutes, right? But this is the application that have built. So this all events are nothing but there are some cards which will show you all your upcoming events. And there is something called my events. This is something like once you click on it, it will start loading all the events that the logged in user is already registered for, right? And of course, certain things like, for example, if you click on this event, and you will get more details about it, what exactly the event and everything. And of course, if user is already registered, we already showing him that you have already registered for it. If it's quite new, then we will give him an option. Once you click on it, and that's it, it will do some calls, and that's it, you are registered for it. And if you see here, so the new one has been come here. Okay, and this is what, of course, as I said, all the documents I have managed in SharePoint, and I have binded here. So that binded, I will show you how I have done. But eventually, once you click on it, the documents will be automatically downloaded from the SharePoint. So you are not redirecting to SharePoint site, but the documents will be downloaded, right? And let's back to yeah. So coming to this one, of course, so basically, the Power Apps is a feature-based capability. To utilize it, you have to go to a developer to explicitly enable it. Then you can start, deploying the stuff. Okay. Then a bit time on the tools used. Definitely, you need Node.js, the latest version. Then you can take any one of the IDE. So I particularly used Visual Studio Code, and we need a Power App CLI. So there are three different ways that you can install it. I particularly used an extension which is called Power Platform Tools. This is an extension which I have used, but there are different ways as well. Okay, and why this Power App CLI? Basically, this will help us to authenticate, build, and deploy the entire solution. That's the reason why we need it. Okay, so let me go with this. Sorry, yeah. So a bit on the data sources that I have used. So as I said, we have used Dataverse. There are a couple of tables. Then of course the SharePoint, which I have done for document management, and O365 service, because I need to validate who is the login user and some of his profile pics and all these things. So I have used this. Okay, so let me go back to this. Yeah, as I mentioned, there are two tables that have used. One table will have all the metadata which is required for an event. So this is the metadata that you have seen in the card. And there is another table that have used. This is like user registered events. It's again pretty simple, just two columns. One column is nothing but the user email ID, and of course a lookup for the parent ID of the table, so that we can validate who registered for what. And at the same time, if someone clicks on this my events, we directly fetch from that table, and we will show what the current user logged in for. And the SharePoint document library, and it's pretty simple. I just put some dummy documents and have, you know, put a grid. So it's like an interlink between these two, so that we can load the documents and bind it for that event. So this is what we have used. Okay, now let's jump into the code. So this is some few commands I've put it here. So definitely this is one of a very helpful command. This is like, once you go ahead and hit this command, what it will do is it will generate a boilerplate code. Like regularly in SPFX and all, we used to write some commands, right? So what is your web part name? What framework that you would like to select? So whether it's a web part or extension, there are a lot of to and fro commands that you need to select. Whereas in code apps, right, they give this command. Once you hit it, it will download a folder into the path, and it will have everything. It's a simple boilerplate code which is easy for you to start. Like for example, I have hit it already, so that's why I have this boilerplate code ready. Okay, all these things. This is how the things are here. Okay, then I just want to show you some commands which is related to PAC, as I said, the authentication. So before you start, of course, you have to do these commands, which means you have to authenticate yourself. Like for example, I will, due to the time limit, I will just show you one. So once you click on this PSC auth create, just bear with me for a second. Yeah, it will ask you a prompt to log in. Yep. Once you click it, it will start, authenticate, and it will generate certain things. Okay. Now it will validate, and finally it will say that your profile is created. And you can run remaining commands. As I said, you know, it will give you the list of environments that you are part of. And yeah, 1 second, please. Yeah, see, I have access on couple of environments. That's why it is showing you the two entries here. Similarly, we have other commands where, after this call, happy to try it. Okay. Then finally, of course, you have to do an initialization. So what exactly it will do is, so once you have everything, then you have to click that initialization. What exactly it will do is, it will create particularly a file called power config.json. This is a schema where it will create, what environment ID that you are part of, what are the connection references. That it's like a continuous file, will keep on updating once you hit different commands. And of course, this is required. Without this, we can't run the code, as well as we can't deploy it. Okay, which is pretty solid. So I just want to show you one thing. Okay, I will write for one. Let's consider, just 1 second, please. Yeah. So because of time, let me write one command. 1 second, please. David, I have hope I have another 5 minutes, right? Or
Yeah, feel free. Yep, we got some extra time, so.
Yeah, great, thanks. Yep. Thank you. Because there's one important concept I just want to show, which is very important. Second. Yep. So let me write a command, add data source. Yeah. So I will go with this one. Okay. So this is something like, for example, in this slide, I have maintained this. So there is a predefined commands, right? When you try to add some data sources, there are some predefined commands. So with that, the data source will be added. For example, for Dataverse, this is what the command is. And again, it was there in official documentation, but I just put it on this deck. And for example, right now I put O365 connection. So very simple, add code, add data source, and shared Office 365 users. This is which represents what connection that you would like to connect. And of course the connection reference. Okay, so once you hit it, what exactly it will do is, it will create a folder called generated, and it will create two folders. One is model and another one is service. If you see this, close this. Yeah, what exactly it will do is, it will create uh, some interface where it will go with a lot of properties and objects. Similarly, services is nothing but it's like a file where you have all the functions, or in pretty simple word, right? So for example, if I do a canvas app, right? So I want to do user. Once I hit it, it will start giving you an intelligence, right? So it will give you a lot of properties of that function. So Microsoft, it's like a hidden treasure, right? You don't know what properties unless and until you select it, right? So just like in a reverse way, you can feel that Microsoft opened this hidden treasure where you can see all the functions, and it's properties which are there in that function, and you can start using it. Okay, so that is what the model and service or auto generated, and we don't need to worry. Our job is just to consume it. Okay, so just for the demo, let me run npm run dev, which is a command. Yep. So once you hit it, what exactly it will do is, it will run the path. Just wait with me a second, please. Yeah, so this is when it's very default code, a boilerplate code. So what I will do is, just for time consuming app, let me do it. Let's jump back to this. Just a second. Yeah, yeah. See, it's simply so hello, the logged in username, and of course the detail, the profile picture of the person. Okay. Again, if you see this code, nothing. I just create a file. My job is consume the functions what I have in the services. Okay, just call it, take the result, and you just play it. That's it. And you believe me or not, if you see the entire application, what I have done, the events hub, I just used agent, and within hardly 10-20 minutes, it will start writing the entire code. My job is just to validate whether it gives me the correct code or not. That's it. With just few commands, this is the application that it have built for me. Pretty good UI. And as I said, I have already given the GitHub code. You can feel free to refer it, and you can start upgrade it. And yep, I guess this is the demo. And once again, thanks DevFit and the community for giving this opportunity.